Sales are up and listings are down week over week in the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver. Find out what this means for prospective buyers and sellers on your Monday Market Monitor. Welcome back again, friends, to your Monday Market Monitor for October 24th to 30th, 2022. Today, we unravel last week's real estate numbers for the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver, and we actually have a lot to talk about. So let's just dive right in with our new listings. Last week, our listings dropped to 840. This is lower than our 16-week average of 918. As we move towards the holiday season, remember, it is actually November tomorrow, we will start to see those numbers dwindle, just the way it is. And for most people, listing over the holidays can be very stressful. However, listing over the holidays can actually be pretty beneficial since the buyer pool is still quite active and in general, you have way less competition on the market. So just something to think about. As for the expireds, we had 86 of those last week, which is right in line with our 16-week averages. So a big snooze fest for this number, and the same can actually be said as the price changes last week. So there were 350 price changes last week, which again is right in line with all of our numbers for the last 16, 17 weeks. But there were a couple of things that were pretty interesting. So while most people understand that in a moderating and slowing market, if you have not had a successful sale, and you've been on the market for a bit, well, you might want to rethink your pricing and marketing strategy. Well, this wasn't actually the case for about 10 properties last week. 10 of the 350 price changes thought that it would be a wonderful idea to price their properties really low and when they got listed so that they could drum up multiple offers and do a bidding war. And then when these particular properties did not get any offers, they decided to raise their prices to what they felt the property was worth. So, if the market already told you that your property wasn't worth less, why do you think it's going to be worth more? This particular pricing strategy can be detrimental to the home seller and leave a really bad taste in prospective buyers' mouths when they figure out the property was listed previously for less. Sellers are just better off pricing appropriate for the market and ensuring that their agent understands who the ideal buyer avatar is for the property and marketing directly to them to drum up a successful sale. The problem is, a successful sales strategy takes a deep understanding of the market, the buyer avatars, where buyers consume their information, and honestly, it's a lot of work. So many agents out there will not bother to put in that kind of effort. And strategy is vital for sellers in this market. Well, moving on to last week's sales. We had 442 successful sales last week, which is more than the previous 2 weeks. Nice to see that number increase a bit. Now, some of you might actually be wondering, well, how is that the case given the rate hike by the Bank of Canada? And this is a great question. As one might expect, anecdotally, there were several agents pushing through deals for clients ahead of this rate hike so that they wouldn't be affected. And we won't see the real impact of this rate hike till sort of next week and the week after. But we're entering into kind of an interesting time because if we continue to see fewer listings coming on the market as we approach the holiday season, and we still have a fairly active buyer pool, the 0.5% rate hike may not actually have a massive effect, especially since the market and everybody had really been counting on a 0.75% rate hike. So people feel like they got a bit of a deal. This is an area that I'm going to be watching pretty intently over the next couple of weeks, and I'll keep you informed as to what we find out. But back to the numbers. Last week, the DOM, or the median days on market for a successful home sale, hit 16. So that's 2 more than the previous week to get a successful home sale. So again, what this tells us is that we're seeing properties which are priced appropriately coming to the market and selling quickly. So now for my favorite number, which is the percentage of properties sold at or above list price, because this tells us where the market's at if people are pricing appropriately and pricing to sell fast. So last week, 19.7% of the successful home sales were sold at or above the list price, which is right in line with our 17-week average, but I expect this number is going to start dropping as we move towards the holiday season, much like most of our other numbers. So interestingly enough, though, of the 442 sales, 230 of them, or 52%, that sold were under $1 million, and 68% were either condos or townhomes. This again just shows the strength of that entry-level market that we have been seeing for weeks and talking about for weeks. So sellers, I've said it before, but I'll repeat it. This is still a great time to consider selling your condo or townhome and moving into that detached property you have always wanted. And buyers, if you are searching at that entry-level price point, then you may already know that the good properties that are coming to the market, well, they're moving fast. So really what it means is that you should not assume that you have all the time in the world to make decisions. In fact, for good properties, you need to be looking at those new listings daily and booking those showings as they hit the market and not waiting, because I can guarantee you, you will miss out. All right, just one more thing. I'm not sure if it's for you, but if you want to have an in-depth conversation about the Vancouver real estate market and how these stats will affect your fall home sale, then reach out for some expert advice. All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to your Monday Market Monitor, and we will see you in the next video.